Hey y'all, what's good? What's up? Hey, welcome back to the Healing and Hope podcast series with your girl Nay. How you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing well. It's a beautiful Tuesday. I'm recording on a Tuesday because my weekend is gonna be packed full. I'm excited on my weekend, but I only post once a week, so I have to record when I can. So what fits for me. So even though I just recorded Friday, I have to record again because tonight was the only night that I could record to make sure that I'm consistent. So because I really want to make sure that I'm consistent. I don't want to miss a beat, right? So ultimately, I have to make sure that I find the time to do the video. So tonight, a Tuesday night, is the only time I had to do this video because I work tomorrow. I got class, and then from Thursday all the way up until Sunday, which is when I drop the video, I'm busy. So I won't have any time to make a video and listen to it and get it out and all those things, right? So yes, I had to go ahead and drop this. Well, I had to go ahead and make this tonight. So I'm not for sure how long it's gonna be. Like I said, I'm gonna really, really try to not make these long. Just get my message and because I be really on a tight schedule and I try to keep my schedule. But I'm happy to be, in front of the camera. I'm happy to be giving out this message. I'm very excited. It kind of just flows from last message at your own pace. I'm excited. I really didn't know how I was gonna do this one, what I was gonna call it. I actually still don't know what I'm gonna call this episode. All I know is that tonight we're gonna be talking about sacrifices. This video is gonna be talking about sacrifices, and I've been waiting. I've been waiting ever since I thought, oh my gosh, I want to do a video on sacrifices. Ever since I thought about it, I've been excited to do this video. So yeah, let me show. So I'm just kidding. But yeah, so I think we're gonna hop right into it. I hope you guys have had a beautiful week, and I hope you guys have a better week. I hope you guys are growing well. I hope you guys are learning well. I hope you guys are really listening to the videos and applying the things that are being said. Seriously apply them. And whether you just started your journey of, growth and development, even faith, because I'm a strong believer in God. So even if you just started your journey with God, it's never too late. It's never too late to seek God, to seek, what He wants for you and, His will for your life, right? So even if that's just where you start in, it's better late than never. And if you have any questions about God or anything like that, you can come and talk to me. I love God. I can talk about God all day in the word all day. So, yes. Yes. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I had to limit, though, this episode about because how I want to do it, I will be talking about God a lot. So, not saying that God is not important, but as you guys know, even though, I walk with God on my own faith journey, on my own spiritual journey when it comes to God, I try to also, when it comes to my videos, when I talk about my experiences and the things that I've been through and the things that I've grown through over these past few months, God is all up and through it, right? But I try to, make sure, it's kind of neutral in a way, if that makes sense. I don't know. But, I try. I really don't know how to put it. I don't know how to put it. So, yes, I just try to. I know everybody now. I don't want to be super religious. If that makes sense. I don't want to be super religious. That's not the purpose. The purpose is really to, I think one of my biggest goals is I really want to hear from people. I want to hear your experiences. I want to hear how you've been able to grow and how you've been able to get through stuff and how you can apply these things and use it on your life journey, right? How you can take what I talk about and really use it and really change and really grow and really develop, right? Because that's what I want. My purpose for people to grow and develop. And I was talking about last episode, it took me to get myself together mentally for me to be able to be able to stand firm in my faith. So I had to be stronger up here to even stand firm in my faith. Because even walking the faith life is not easy. It's a narrow path. Matthew chapter 7, very narrow. It's not cookies and cream and cakes. Like people think walking with God is like, no, walking with God it's a war. It's a fight for real. And I'm thankful to be walking it, but it's definitely not easy. So like with me, like I was talking about last time, with me having to start working on myself mentally, it really helped me to be able to, come to God and be able to stand firm in my faith and be able to grow in my faith, right? Because if you're not mentally strong, you're not going to be firm about anything. If you're mentally weak, because mentally your mind is like beating you up, your thoughts are beating you up. You cannot win against your thoughts, right? You're losing to your thoughts. You're losing to the war that's going on in your head. So how can you trust God if you're losing in your head? How can you trust that God will bring you out? How can you trust that God will help you overcome? How can you trust that God will get you through if you're beating yourself up here, if you're dealing with depression or anxiety? So you really gotta work on that first. You really gotta grow stronger up here so that you can be somebody who knows that no matter what is going up here, I can fight it. No matter what's going up in here, I can get through it. It makes it easier to walk with God when you can strengthen your mind, because when you walk with God, you're gonna go through some stuff. So if you're not strong up here, that's all I'm gonna say. Okay, but anyways, tonight's episode is about sacrifices, and I've been really super excited to talk about sacrifices and what it means to make sacrifices. And honestly, for me, it has not been easy to make sacrifices. It has not been easy. And these definitions are out. It's really crazy. But I like this one. So basically, sacrifice is to give up something, right? It's to give up something for something else that you may consider more important or more valuable, or for the greater good of your life, for the betterment of your life. So you give it up so that, and that's pretty much all I got. So I'm just going off I didn't write no notes because usually I'm able to prepare for this a little bit. Think about like, okay, Nate, where like my notes kind of be like a guide for me, right? It's my messages that I just, they just come to me when it comes to a topic, and I write them down. I'm like, okay, this can guide me through what I have to say. I just had a definition, so that's why I was like, this might not be long, but we gonna see. But yes. So I was thinking in the shower tonight, and I was just thinking about like, okay, this has to relate to like growth and development, and healing as well, and hope. So let me drink some of these. I love me some kombucha. Like a lot of times, y'all, I be feeling like nauseous. I don't know why. So it helps. It really helps. But yeah, it's a sacrifice. So to give up something, to really suffer, to give up, to suffer. Because when you got to give up something that you really don't want to give up, it feel like you suffering. It feel like you dying. It's very, very hard to give up something that you really wanted to hold on to, that you really thought, was for you, that you really thought that you needed, and that could be anything. It could really be anything. When you think about it, everybody's sacrifices are going to look different. You might have some sacrifices that are the same, but everybody's sacrifices are going to look different because everybody walks a different path. Even if you're walking the same path, you may not go through the same type of things that somebody else go through. So everybody has to make different sacrifices, but they can all fall in the same categories, or like I said, it could look the same. You really never know. But yeah, it's giving up something for something more important, for something that you deem more valuable. It's what I'm thinking about is like it's time. Like you come to a point in your life where you realize it's time to give this up. It's time to let this go. It's time to, do something more. It's time to go after something better. But in order to make that change, in order to, you know, grow, in order to develop, you have to really give something else up. You have to, and I was talking about this. This is where I'm gonna start. I was talking about this when I was in the gym. I was talking about this with the two people that I was in the gym with, and we was talking about smoking, marijuana, and we was talking about how, we gave it up so that we could be healthier, so that we can think clearer. Like, that's one of the reasons that I gave it up, so I could have like a cleaner, temple, a cleaner body, so I can think better, think higher, um, because I used to have this mindset like I'm gonna always smoke, right? And I also had this mindset like, oh, smoking is not that bad. Smoking, smoking not a cigarette, it's not gonna give you no cancer or nothing like that. So when we talk about marijuana, we like to say, oh, it's not that bad. Oh, it was not bad for you. It doesn't do anything. It's not like a cigarette or a black. We try to make it sound like good, so that we can hold on to it, so that we can keep doing it, right? But for me, I had to like give it up. Even though it's not bad for me, like per se, I still had to give it up. I still had to sacrifice it so that I could continue to grow on my own path, on my own journey, so that I could continue to, you know, um, be able to think clearer, to be able to be more productive. Because one of the things that I noticed, and it's a big part of sacrificing things, is also being self-aware, because you need to know what you need to sacrifice. So you need to know the problem so that you could actually sacrifice it. Because if you don't see the problem, you're not going to give it up. So you have to be self-aware. So I had to know myself enough to know, like, I need to give this up. Why? Because sometimes, like, when I smoke, I get really lazy, really unproductive. And then on the other hand, sometimes I get very, very anxious. Like, I think I need to go get some air. I'm about to pass out. I'm about to call the ambulance. Like, a lot of times throughout this past year when I was trying to, like, really give it up and stop smoking, right? Because I really stopped, but I would like dibble and dabble throughout like this past year, right? Because still struggling trying to cut it off, but it's like I don't buy it. Like, that's one of the things that I had cut off. I don't buy it or whatever. So, anyways, I was still trying to cut it off, but I was still like smoking a little bit. And a lot of times I would be in here, like, I would smoke, and this was like early on in the year. I would smoke and I would get so anxious, and I just sit there like, God, please help me. Because I would get so anxious. And like my breathing, everything, like I would like start to have panic attacks, because it would just get me to that place sometimes. Not all the time, but it just showed me like, this is not what I need. This is not what I need. Also, when I smoke, I get to thinking a lot. I think a lot. My mind go to places that I don't want to go. I wouldn't say super dark, but I just get very thoughtful. And I'm just yeah, it just takes me to a place. It's not really a dark place, but I do think a lot. I go to a place that I really, really don't want to go. That I wouldn't have went to if I hadn't been like high. I just get lost in my thoughts and in the days, and that's a distraction too, right? So just realizing those things about myself, even though personally, to be transparent, I like smoking weed. I did like to smoke weed. Even once I got off of the dependent part of it, because I used to like depend on it. Like, oh, I'm stressed. Oh, I'm having a bad day. Oh, this person got me messed up. Let me smoke. I got away from that, and I actually started smoking it for recreation. Like, I actually just like to smoke. But you know, once I was doing it for just recreation, I still realized, like, okay, this is actually slowing me down. This is actually making me very unproductive, right? So I had to realize, I gotta make a choice. If I want to keep growing in my life, I have to give this up, because it's not beneficial. Just like in the Bible, it says, we can do whatever we want to do, but is it beneficial to your life? Is it beneficial? And it just shows how much, like, we have free will. We literally can do whatever we want to do. But even for that to be in the Bible, that shows how much God, like, really do care for us. Because it's like, for him to say, like, you got free will, but if you think about it, if you really think about the things that you're doing that, I'm asking you not to do, think about it. Is it really beneficial to you? Is it really helpful to you? Yeah, you can do it, but what is it doing for you? Is it really helping you to grow, to change? Is it really giving you life? Is it beneficial? So that's something that you have to think about when it comes to sacrifices. yeah, I can do this, I can do that, I can keep doing that, I can keep doing this, but is it beneficial to my life? Sacrifice is all about letting go. You gotta letting go and stop trying to control everything, and stop trying to be like, oh, again, oh, having that type of attitude. Like, you got when it comes to sacrifice, you gotta be humble. You gotta humble down. You gotta really be humble, and you gotta be a humble person to make sacrifices because like, okay, I gotta give this up because I wanna reach better. I wanna change. I wanna do different. So you gotta be humble enough to let things go. Because a lot of people know that certain things are not beneficial at all, but they will still do it out of pride, out of ego. They can fully see, they're fully aware of how this thing that they need to really let go of or give up is not beneficial to them. How we call it red flags. But we can see how it's hindering us. We can see how it's in the way of us making the next step. Whether it's a thing, a person, a material thing, a mindset, we can see how it's stopping us. But we choose to cling to it instead of making that sacrifice so that we can continue to grow, heal, develop, move forward. Out of pride, out of ego. In order to be somebody that knows how to make sacrifices, true sacrifices, you gotta be humble. To know that, okay, if I let this go, this is gonna help me get to the next stage of my life, and it's gonna help me grow, it's gonna help me develop better into a better person, into the person that I want to become. And it's going to hurt. Now, I would say, like, me not smoking, that didn't really hurt. Like, I actually, like, once certain sacrifices you make, like, once you really let it go, it's like, oh, okay. Like, I'll really be good off of it. But I can tell y'all one sacrifice that I had to make. One sacrifice that I had to make on my faith journey, because like I can only speak from experience. I can't like come up here and just tell y'all any type of thing. I can only speak from experience. I can only talk to you guys from experience, from what I've been through. So one of the sacrifices that I truly had to make that was very hard. It was hard for me to make over the past few months of my life. That I'm actually like okay with now was the thought of relationships. Yeah, relationships. So I got out of a relationship, and like it's been a year since I've been single. I got a relationship, and a few anyways, I got a relationship, and not too long after I met somebody, right? And I really liked them. I was like, wow. Like when I was like, I really like everybody. But anyways, I really liked them. I was like, wow, like, wow, like this person really like feel like home to me. Like this person really feel like it feels so different. Like I never came across a person that I felt like saw me, really saw who I am, didn't judge me or nothing. Like really saw me for who I am, right? And so, and it's like was just real, like, I feel like he was himself and not trying to fake anything for me or, I just feel like he was like really himself. And he wasn't somebody who like saw me as somebody that he could dump all his problems on. Cause I feel like I'm used to people that like to dump their problems on me or whatever. Um, but no, like, I feel like no matter what he was going through, like he always like just made me smile, right? So, I talked to my mentor because I have mentors. So I talked to my mentor, and I was like, "Yeah, I met somebody. Like, what do you think?" And you know what she told me? She was like, "Don't you think it's a pattern?" And I was like, "She's like, don't you think it's a coincidence?" Because you want to know why I left my last. Another reason I left my last relationship. Like, I left my last relationship. I didn't have $1 to my name. I didn't have anything, right? Because I went into a relationship trying to build something, because, I went into a relationship having my own plan. Well, not having my own plan, but having my own thoughts and also having a plan. But, I was going to be with him, so having a plan with him as well, right, of what we're going to do. Kind of like I was talking about in the last episode, having this plan of like, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to grow together, we're going to build together, whatever. Just having a plan, right? So having this plan. So I was kind of like a stay-at-home girlfriend or whatever. And, which I was okay with, but I was still, but also he had this heart of like, I want you to do what you need to do, like as a woman too. Like I want you to, because I was writing a book, and I really wanted to be a writer. Like I want to write, I love this, like and I was still trying to work on healing and hope too. So like I'm a big dreamer, and I'm somebody who like I try to do everything and also. But he was for it, like whatever you want to do, like do it. Like he believed in me, he believed in what I could do. So I rock with that too, right? And so, just going through all of that, like with the relationship or whatever, and but at the same time, I was starting to grow closer to God. I had just got in tune with my mentors. Just doing my little journey with the Word and all this type of stuff. So I'm getting closer to God all in one breath, like making plans with Him, trying to build up a career, taking care of dogs and doing all this type of stuff, whatever, and then building my relationship with God. And as I was building my relationship with God, God continuously showed me how, like, is this really what I want? So, needless to say, I still felt empty. Even in a relationship, I still felt empty. I still felt unsatisfied. I still wasn't happy. Like, I was still, crying. I still felt alone. Like, I was still just going through the emotions. Like, and it's because God was helping me to really see, like, this is not the answer. This is not even the plan, This is not even the plan. This is not this is not it. I got something better for you. Just trust me. So I literally left that because I had went to a relationship with like this plan of, this is what I'm going to do and this is what we're going to do. So I wasn't working, but that was okay because I was, working. I was trying to build something else up for myself, because that's what I wanted to do. So because I didn't have a job or anything, but I was good, he was good, I was taken care of, everything was copacetic, if that's the word. So everything was good. We were in tune, we were okay with what we had going on. That was our thing. We were good. But because I didn't have a job, right, when I decided like, God is asking me to do something else. I decided I was gonna leave and come back home and, see what God was gonna do with me because a relationship was not the answer, and I couldn't focus on God in a relationship. I couldn't really be what God needed me to be, and because one thing about me is like when I really love a person, I really really love a person, right? And I pour a lot into a person, and if the plan is to become a mom and a wife with this man, then that means I have to focus on that, as much as I focus up on God. And I had to choose. I really had to choose. I had to make a choice. And so I chose God. So I chose to come back home with nothing. Like nothing, no money, no house, no car, nothing. I had $0 to my name. I had nothing. Nothing. And I chose to do that. I chose to come back home. And a lot of people think like, wow, you crazy. Like you basically had everything, you could have built up with, with that man and but I chose God. So I came back home, right? But even making that sacrifice, still being disobedient at the same time, like trying to do better, but still just not listening, right? Because like I said, I met somebody else, right? So fast forward again, my mentor, she was like, you just got a relationship. Don't you think it's a coincidence that, you found somebody again, you really, really like And honestly, truth be told, it is a pattern. Like, and the thing is, like, I really be chilling. I really be chilling. I do. And then, whoop, here goes somebody. And it's whoop, oh wow, like I really, it's crazy. I don't know. It's crazy. So it was crazy that she called it out because I'm like, yeah, I noticed it, but nobody ever really like brought it to the light like you just did. So, one of the things that I realized is that, and even after like I did, even though she told me like my mentor told me, she was like, no, don't pursue nothing. And if he's somebody that's supposed to be in your life, he gonna wait until you until you have, I'm not gonna tell you exactly what she said, but she said if that he ready for you, he'll wait, right? So I did not listen. So I pursued the situation. I pursued the situation, not listening. And, you know, I wouldn't say the worst thing is the worst. It was the worst situation. I wouldn't say that. We are really cool, actually. I wouldn't say it was the worst situation. We're really cool. But, you know, I didn't listen. So I continue to see why I should have just, like, say, you know what? I just don't got time. Because one thing I recognize is that, you know, Satan, the devil, the enemy, however you want to call him, he likes to put distractions in my way. Because he, like, one thing about the enemy, right? He knows exactly what he needed. Like, he know you. A gospel song is called Cycles. Like, he learns you and he knows. Even when you don't learn from your mistakes, the devil is paying attention. So he knows exactly what to do. Because that was one of my things, like repeated cycles, but not learning from this one repeated cycle when it comes to relationships. Right, in men in general. So, yeah. So going through and just realizing, like, man, yeah, God, I hear you. Because again, like, even though the person is so cool, like down to earth, like really my dog, for real. I had to make a sacrifice again. Like, I had to. And it's crazy because really with this person, to be honest, I felt like he really could be the one though. Like, you know, the one. Like, seriously, like, I'm not playing. Like, seriously. Um, for real. Because even with my last relationship, it just, you know, we was cool, but it was just like something was just, it still wasn't there. Even though it was still me needing to heal, it was still like, I'm big on like companionship and how we rock and how it is. And, you know, I just feel like I was walking on eggshells. But like with this person, I don't know, everything just felt right. So the fact that I couldn't really pursue it, even though I pursued it, and God was still just showing me, like, you know, no, Nay, this is not what I'm at. This is not what you need in your life right now. I need you to be fully focused on me. Something that I really wanted to just, you know, be all in with this person. I couldn't because I knew I had to be all in with God. I knew I had to focus on God. And I knew I had to keep healing. You know, I knew I had to keep, you know, growing. I had to keep learning my lessons. I had to even understand, like, why am I even in this cycle of, you know, why can't I just allow God to love on me? Why can't I just allow God to provide for me? Because when it comes to me, even when it comes to relationships, I'm always been looking for a provider, a protector, you know, somebody that could be there, somebody that, you know, is 100% down. You know what I'm saying? But I had to realize I had to work on my daddy issues too. So I ended up having to talk to my dad about some stuff and, you know, work on that part of me. But yeah, so I even had to sacrifice that, and it was very, very hard. It was very hard to sacrifice, you know, not being all in with this person and really focusing on myself and really focusing on God more than anything, and allowing God to love me, allowing God to be my sole provider, allowing, you know, myself to build a relationship with God first more than anything, you know, and realizing that if I'm supposed to have a relationship or a marriage or whatever, you know, not allowing it to be something that I'm putting first, you know. So that was also something that I had to sacrifice, you know, love. Like, I love love. Like, I love love, and, you know, like, I do. So I had to sacrifice the idea of love and, you know, what it's supposed to look like and how it's supposed to come. And, you know, I really had to, you know, say, like, I gotta focus. Like, it was hard. It took a while. It took a long time. But eventually, like, I was able to, like, really stand firm on it and just be like, you know, I gotta focus. You know, I gotta sacrifice this situation for me to keep growing, for me to keep allowing God to show me where I'm supposed to go and where I'm supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm supposed to be doing, you know, for the greater good of my life, you know, for my purpose. I gotta sacrifice this. Like, you know, and that's what I was just talking about last time, how, you know, sometimes I be on social media and I be like, oh, I be seeing like cute little relationships. And you know, me, you know, I could be in a relationship. You know, I could just do whatever I want to do, but for me, it's like, is it beneficial? And like I said from the beginning, you really gotta know yourself, and I know me enough to know that I know who I am, and I know where I'm headed because God has, you know, shown me that within my path, right? So I know that if I even drift to the left and go get in a relationship, You know, I'm not gonna be all in with my relationship with God like I even want to be. Because one thing about God is He does not force him. I mean, He does not force us to want to know Him, to want to seek Him, to want to know what His will is for our life, what His purpose is, what His plans are for us. He doesn't force that. He gives us free will. So I had a choice, and knowing myself, I knew like I gotta sacrifice this in order to keep walking this path. I have to. Even with my last relationship, I knew I had to sacrifice. I knew I had to I could have stayed and I could have been comfortable, but I had to get uncomfortable. I had to come back to nothing. I came back to nothing. I had nothing. I was living with my sister. And then I was living with my dad. And but for me though, even though I was so humble, like I was so humble because at that point I really trusted God. Like at that point I was trusting God for real. And like He showed up and showed out every time. I'm telling you, it's the little things. But I was so humble. Like, and that's another thing with God is that you come to realize like even if I go back to nothing, because I believe in God, because I trust God, I know that He's going to provide a way for me to be okay. You know, no amount of money or material possessions or whatever amounts to God. Nothing. So if me leaving meant that I would grow closer to God, then that's what I was going to do. And the same thing with the recent situation. If me having to keep you blocked and, that's what I'm going to do. I got to stay focused, you know, because also like it's hard to really deal with anybody who's not like on the same path as you anyway, you know. And it's never like for me, it's never me forcing anybody to change or want to grow or even want to heal. That's ultimately up to God and themselves. Because I was big on that. I was big on like trying to like beat it into somebody's head. Like, bro, you gotta grow up. Like, you gotta grow. You gotta heal. Like, come on now. Like, but it's like that I realized like that's not my job. I'm not, I'm not a therapist. I'm not, I'm not even a healer. I'm not even a healer. Well, I won't say that. I'm not going to say it like that because I am in fact a healer. But like I just can't force it. I cannot force it. You know? So I had to sacrifice that too, and it was so like it was hard. It was hard. But I sacrificed it for a better purpose, a better me as well. Cause it's like I'm all in, and I was even able to look back at my life too. Once I came to the point of breaking the cycle, I had to look back at the cycles and look and be like, man, yeah, like every time I'm trying to focus and I'm trying to do, even before like I was really walking a path of faith, like every time I was just trying to do better in my life and grow and really accomplish things, I was always in a relationship or dealing with somebody. And so it was always a in the way or always a distraction for me. So God really taught me that this must be sacrificed in order for you to really become whole within yourself. And whether it comes or whether it does not come, I'm okay with it. It's not something that I prioritize like, oh, I need to be in a relationship. I need to be with someone. Oh, I need somebody to hold me at night. Oh, I'm lonely. Oh, I'm dead. Like, no, that's not my energy anymore. That's not how I think. You know? So that's just like a personal sacrifice. Cause it was one that was very hard. It was very hard. It was very hard. And why it was hard because like I said, when my mentor told me like, no, it's a pattern, don't you see it? I didn't listen. I wasn't willing to sacrifice it. Not at that time. But through situations with that person, not saying that they're a bad person, but through situations with that person, like still feeling like I'm alone, still having to go in energy where I might have to curse about. You know, it's like I don't want. Still going through situations where I'm reminded of my past. Like I don't want that. So I had to hate. Like I had to hate in order to really, really end the cycle. I had to hate feeling like, you know, the feelings of disappointment and loneliness. Like I started to hate it. Like I don't want to feel like this. Like I don't like feeling like this. I hate. No, I don't want this no more. This is not where I'm at. I don't want it. I don't want anybody in my life that's going to make me feel disappointment. And even I cannot say like, oh, this, because I'm putting my trust and my faith in the person as well. When you are dealing with somebody, you expect a lot from them. You expect things from them. So therefore, you're putting your trust in them. You're putting your faith in them that they will show up. That they won't let you down. You believing in the words, the actions. You want it. So it's like, it's my fault too, because I'm putting my faith and my trust in you to do right, to get it right. You know what I'm saying? Like in any way. That's what happens when you're dealing with somebody. You are choosing to put your trust in them, to put your faith in them, to be somebody that can show up for you, to be somebody that can be there for you, to be somebody that could be, you know, that person for you, to be your person. So you're putting yourself in a position to be let down, to be disappointment if they don't live up to, you know, you guys' agreement of even being, you know, dealing with each other. And so when that person was just, you know, like reminding me of my past, and, you know, it's like I was hating it. I was like, no, I know. So God even was able to show me, like, this is not the answer. This is not, you know, this is not what you need to be putting your energy into. This is not what you need to be prioritizing. This is not, you need to sacrifice this. You need to let it go. You need to give it up. Whatever the reason why you still want to, you know, put your faith and trust in a person to love you and be there for you, whatever it is, you need to let go of it. And you need to let go of it now. And put your faith and your trust and your love in me, and vice versa. I am the okay. I am the and it just reminded me of all God had brought me through from the last. Like when I tell you I left with nothing, and God literally provided, even if it was through the help of my parents. So what? Like God still made sure that I was okay. I didn't have to get out here and do nothing crazy. Like God still made sure that I was good. Even when I came back, it was so crazy. Like I had nothing, so I had called my mom. I was like, Mom, like, can you help me get a few things? I had just moved in, and literally, like, I had no food, I had no money to eat, but I didn't say nothing to my mama. I just was like, can you just get some stuff for my dog? Like that's just my heart. Like I just make sure my dog can eat. But like when I was like trying to get it all together, like my mom, she made sure I was good. I was going over there. I was eating over there all the time. Like, you know, I was good. So, you know, I'm grateful and thankful. But like it just showed like putting myself back in it showed why I needed to sacrifice, you know, the idea of love and relationships and men, because it's like God showed me, it's like I can't, it's like the Israelites, like, you know, it's like being in the Old Testament, you know, like that's how God humbled me. He humbled me by, you know, he humbled me by me leaving, having nothing. It was a very, like, coming back was very humbling to me, because it really showed me like it's not my plan, it's God's plan. Like that's one. Like I could plan so much stuff. I can have so many plans in my heart, but when you really following God and walking a path of faith with God, God will show you why none of the plans that you put in your heart is His plan. He said, "For I know the plans I have for you, not the plans you have for you." So His plan, you know, is way different than our plans. And so I had to sacrifice and come back with nothing. And He humbled me, and He showed me that it's me who provides, it's me who gives, because I love you, and I'm gonna make sure you're good. But because I refused to learn the cycle I needed to learn, the lesson I needed to learn, I had to go through a lot of emotions and a lot of more things because I refused to, look at the pattern and look at the reason why when it came to relationships and men. So I had to still go through some things, still had to learn my lessons over this past year. This past year, 2024, I still had to go through some things and learn because, you know, yeah, that I just did. But when I had to make up, I had to go through those things. And I had to hate it. Not everything that you need to sacrifice, you're going to sacrifice right away. You're not going to always see it as clearly. You're not going to always be, because like I said, some things are hard, so you're not gonna always be willing. Like you're not gonna always be willing to just let it go. So when you're not willing to let something go, God will show you why you need to sacrifice and let it go. Like it's not even worth it at the end of the day. It's not even worth it at all. And He showed me like, it's because He put me through, like I said, like He with the feelings, the emotions, I was like, oh no, we're not doing this. I'm good, I know what this look like. I know what this feel like. I don't want it. I don't want to go back. I don't like God. Pull me out of so much. I pulled myself out of so much. God done put me out of so much. Because, and I say I. Why I say I is because you gotta want to come out of that mud. You gotta want to come out of that darkness too. So I had to have the strength to get back up one more time so God can help me. You know what I'm saying? You follow me? So you got to be willing to get up too. Because God not always going to just pull you up. You got to be willing to get up. Especially out of certain situations that He already done showed you time over time over time is not it. So I had to be willing to be like, no. So I had to sacrifice, that idea of love and marriage and, relationships. I had to sacrifice it and it was so, so hard, but I'm happier. I'm happier in the space I am. And like I said, me and the person really cool. We really, really cool. We cool. But I had to like put a distance. I had to like just it's I can't. I can't focus. I can't do. It's just me and God. And they know like they know it's me and God. Um. So it's just really like my mentor had told me in the beginning when I first came across the person. He was like, if it's something that's supposed to happen, it'll happen. If not, it won't, right? So that go with any sacrifice you make. Sometimes, a lot of things that my mentors tell us too is that, just because we sacrifice something for the better of our good doesn't mean we'll never see it again. It's all about the heart and the willingness. Because like I said, even with smoking, I put it down, but it's not something I think I want to do again, But it's a lot of other things that I put down so that I can focus on my path. Like I don't write as much as I used to. But you never know, I may actually pick it up back again. And who's telling where it could go? I don't know. I'm just saying. Like everything that we sacrifice to grow does not mean you'll never see it again. So even when it comes to sacrifices, you shouldn't even like have a negative connotation towards it. Because you never know if you'll be able to see it again. And it be bigger and better. Excuse me. So you gotta have you gotta have joy through the suffering. You have to have joy through the suffering. Because it's a lot of things that I had to sacrifice to walk the path that I'm walking now. I had to sacrifice, a lot. I had to sacrifice a lot in my life. I had to give a lot of things up. But it was for me to grow. It was for me to be able to see, to know, to develop, But giving up stuff has made me see things more clearer. It has made me to be able to see what's more important, for real. And it's way more important things. But it's not easy. not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. But for me, when it comes to sacrifice, I'm happy. I'm happy that I did sacrifice. I'm happy that I did let some things go. You know, I am. So my message is that, if you see that you need to sacrifice something because it's hindering you, because it's in the way, because it's stopping you, then you need to sacrifice. You need to let it go. You got to get it up out of there. And it's like, I tell y'all this, and I said this before, I tell y'all this literally because I've lived through it and I know. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. But another thing I learned is that you suffer now so everything can be good later. If you stay comfortable now, later, it's not going to be good. So you really have to be uncomfortable. Sacrifices make you. It's gonna make you uncomfortable. It's gonna feel like you're dying when you're. Well, I don't know how it feels when you're dying, but when you're at the gym, like for me, when I'm at the gym, it feels like I'm dying. I feel very uncomfortable. But I'm there for a reason. I have a purpose for being there. So I choose to be uncomfortable. Because I know where this uncomfortableness will lead me. Shoot. Some nights, yeah, I do want to lay up. But I know for me personally, that's not going to do anything for me. That doesn't fulfill me. That's not going to fulfill me. That's not going to do what, it's not going to do anything. So, I'm happy. Even when it comes to I used to party all the time with my friends. I gave that up. Sacrificed a lot of things. But I love my life. I love my life. Like I said, some things you sacrifice, you realize whoa, it wasn't even all day anyway. It wasn't even all day anyway. For real, it wasn't even seriously. So, on the path of growth, on the path of development, of healing, you're going to have to sacrifice big things, small things. But it's going to be worth it. You might have to suffer a little bit. You might be uncomfortable a little bit. You might have to go through some things. But you got to find joy. You got to be content. You gotta be at peace. Because it's not, the suffering ain't gonna last forever. The uncomfortableness not gonna last forever. You gotta be thankful. You gotta be grateful. And I think the most important thing, like I've been saying for the past videos, is that you gotta know where you're headed. When it comes to sacrifices, you know that you're making a sacrifice for a reason, for a higher purpose, for the betterment of your life. That's what you gotta know, and that's what you gotta believe. Seriously. And when you believe, that makes it a little bit easier. It makes it easier to make them sacrifices. Even when it's hard to put things down. It's not easy. Even when it comes to a little thing like social media. Like when I do social media fast. Because I know for me personally, I know I'm busy. I really be doing things. I really be going. I really my life is crazy. It's like a movie. And so I know that if I sit on social media, if I got social media on my phone, then I'm gonna just be trolling, tapping. Even if I'm not paying no attention, really, I'm just wasting time. I'm letting time pass me by. So that's why I try to stay off of it. That's why I make that sacrifice of like, I'm gonna delete social media so that I can focus, so that I can make sure all my work done, so I can actually be productive. And I be happy. Like I be busy. Like when you busy though, you don't be worrying about what nobody else doing. I tell you that one. You don't worry about the world doing what the world doing because you be busy. Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 8:28 p.m.
Okay, yeah, it's time to wrap this up. But yes, y'all, like whatever in your life that you need to give up, let go of, and you know what it is. Like I always tell y'all, everything is gonna be different for everybody. For every individual, it's gonna be different. And it might be somebody across from you, standing next to that person. You might have some similarities, but you would know. Like Kevin Gates, I just watched something about that Kevin Gates said. He said he take inventory of his life. Take inventory of your life. You know what you need to get rid of. You know what's hindering you. You know what's stopping you from taking that next step, from doing what you gotta do, from healing, from becoming better. You know what it is. That's the thing. When you really walk in this path, you know your own red flags. You know the problems. You know what you do that is you know how you're in your own way. You know. You're conscious of it. You know. We try to act like we don't know when we the problem. You know what the problem is. You know what you need to fix. You know what you need to correct. You know what you need to let go. You know what you need to do. So you gotta be willing to do it. You gotta be willing to make them sacrifices. So the question is, are you willing to make the sacrifices? Take inventory. What is it that's hindering me? What do I need to do? Because I want to change. I want to grow. I want to heal. I want to do better. But how, right? How? So you have to really pay attention to yourself. You really got to become self-aware so you can know what to do. So you can know what need to go. Just like I said when it came to marijuana, I was conscious. I was self-aware, and I was taking inventory. I knew that every time I smoked, I didn't want to do nothing but lay down and watch TV, take a nap, or I got really anxious, like I'm finna pass out. So for me being able to be conscious about that, I'm like, this gotta go. It's not helping me. It's not beneficial. You know? So these are things that you gotta be aware of. These are things that you gotta know in order to get rid of it, in order to sacrifice it, in order to give it up. Give it up. Turn it loose. Let it go. You gotta ask yourself, is it worth it? You gotta measure. I'm obsessed with my dog, literally. But yes, you it's something that you gotta. If you gotta give it up, give it up. Whatever it is, whatever it looks like in your life, let go of control. Let go of ego. Let go of pride. Humble yourself. Humble yourself. I'm so big on humility. Like I don't think he'll believe me. I don't think he'll believe me when I tell you how big I am on humility. Somebody told me tonight, like, yeah, you humble, but when this happened for you, I'm gonna remain humble. You wanna know why? Because God. I never get too proud because I know that God will take it. He will give and he will take it away. So I'm great. I've learned to be grateful for what I have and what I get. Even if it's the smallest thing, you know. And it's never, oh, this is because of me. It's being, no, God did it. And I'm just grateful that he did. You know what I'm saying? Like, I used to have this energy of like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna, now I'm not seeking validation. I don't care. I'm not trying to prove a point. I'm making sacrifices so that I can give all the glory to God. I'm making sacrifices so that it can be shown that whatever sacrifices I made to grow and get better and really live out my purpose, I can say I gave that up so that I could walk this path. And the only reason that I got this or that is that because God. You know, I had to sacrifice my time. Like when I say I'm busy, like I had to learn how to sacrifice time. Like I don't sleep a lot. I get a little bit hours of sleep. You know, it's a lot. You know, I can't. I can't tell y'all literally everything, but you know, walking this path, walking in my purpose, doing what I do. You know, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of my time, but you know, I'm thankful. You know, I'm thankful to be where I am, and I'm thankful for what God has given me and has blessed me with. Seriously, you know. And when I talk about sacrifices, I really talk about sacrifices that I've made to walk the path that I'm walking, to be able to know who I am, to be able to know my purpose, and also to be able to grow and heal even more and develop as well on my journey. You know, I made sacrifices for those reasons because I know the things that I had to let go of. I knew it was not going to be beneficial. I knew it was not going to be beneficial to the path that I'm trying to walk. And I mean, straightforward all the way to the end. This is the path. This is it. I'm not going off of it. I'm not turning back. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? This is straightforward. But I had to sacrifice a lot to be able to keep walking it. And it's not easy. But I still choose to do so. You know, I still choose to do so. It's not easy. But, yeah, that's my message, y'all. Make them sacrifices. Whatever you need to do, you got to do it. No matter, and the biggest thing is like, it shouldn't matter what nobody say or think. You know, if you got to sacrifice whatever you got to sacrifice, and it even brings you down to a humble position, you gotta be okay with it because you know, faith, man, trust, faith, faith and trust. You know, like when you know, you just know. When you know where you headed, you know where you're going. Like I was telling y'all, it don't matter what nobody think. It doesn't matter what nobody say. If you gotta, if you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. You know, for the betterment of your life. If somebody like, oh, why you don't do this no more? Oh, I see you ain't going to spend all this money like you used to. Sacrifices. I had to cut back. You know, I'm headed somewhere. I can't do what I used to do. I can't be where I used to be. I can't hang with who I used to hang with. I can't do them things. I can't move how I used to move. I'm on a mission. I'm on a journey. I got a purpose. I had to make sacrifices. People gonna think what they think. They gonna say what they want to say. They gonna assume. They gonna do a lot of things. That's life. That's the world we live in. That's just the reality of it. But you don't have to explain nothing to nobody. You just got to walk the path you're supposed to be walking, that you're meant to walk. You just got to keep going. Like I told y'all last episode, background noise. It's gonna happen. It's inevitable. The background noise is gonna background. It's gonna do what it does. But you cannot let that throw you off. You gotta do what you gotta do. Letting people go, letting things go, letting habits go, making the sacrifices, let it go. Whatever it takes for you to keep walking, keep going, for the betterment of your life, that's what you gotta do. It is what it is. It is gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard letting habits go. It's gonna be hard letting people go. It's gonna be hard letting things go. It's gonna be hard letting old mindsets go. It's gonna be hard. But you're gonna make it through. I'm telling you. It's gonna be hard, but you're gonna make it through. You're gonna make it through. You're gonna make it through. And ain't nothing gonna come easy. Anyway. nothing worth having comes easy. So of course sacrifices are going to be hard. But you gotta know why you're doing it. You gotta know why you're making the sacrifice. You gotta know why you letting the things go, why you giving it up. And if it's important to you, if it means something to you, if it matters, if it's valuable, then you'll give it up, even if it takes some time. Like I was just explaining with my it took some time. But what I was giving it up for, it meant something to me. So eventually I had to make up my mind, I had to make up my heart, and I had to be determined. Like, I'm not gonna let this get in the way. I'm not gonna let this hinder me. So I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. From my heart to yours. Good night.